Okay. Hello, everyone. We are live. We're just getting all systems going. Welcome to this edition of Wellness Wednesday. My name is Tara Green, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm the founder of Green Tara Wellness. I'm a health coach. I'm a naturopath student, just an all-round health nut. But the reason that we're here today, I've got a really, really special Wellness Wednesday that I want to share with you all this week. I have the great pleasure of introducing a woman that is very, very close to my heart, both personally and professionally. She is actually a professional educator. She's a lifelong learner like myself, loves the books. She's got so many runs on the board. Like, honestly, I could stand here for days telling you all the amazing things this woman has done, but she's done over, I think, 11,000 hours under her belt of training, and she's been a professional speaker. She still does, and she coaches so many different coaches from a range of backgrounds, be it life coaches, business coaches, CEOs, health coaches like me, naturopathic students, naturopaths, the list goes on. So she's all about human behavior, and she's all about real life hands-on approach. She's made the mistakes, she's stumbled over, she's fallen, she's scuffed a knee, she's got back up, and she knows that by sharing this knowledge with her clients that we're going to be able to help to shine our light on the world and help people as well. So you're a mentor, practitioner, and trainer of neuro-linguistic programming, which we're going to get into tonight. So welcome. Thank you so much for your time.
Lovely to see you, Tara. Thank you for inviting me along.
Pleasure. I just really wanted to share you with the community and share a little bit about, the journey of NLP, which we'll get into, share a little bit about how we come to be and the impact that you've had on my life. So I want to just fire a few rapid questions to you. And if anyone is watching live in the hub, feel free to pop some questions in the comments. But first of all, how did you come to do the work that you do? Like, share a little bit about your background and what you do now.
Oh, okay. So I don't think I know. When I look back at the decades of life, even from my very first job and in retail, and then retailing, managing some stores, if there's any record fanatics out there, you might remember a chain called Brashes. I know, flashback. So record stores, black vinyl things that go like that and make music.
So we had them out on the weekend, actually.
Apparently making a comeback, so that's all right. So yeah, I'd managed Brashes stores in years gone by. I've worked in call centres, and I've defaulted to a space of generally leading and influencing people and being really focused on the outcomes we need to create. So when I was in retail, like, what's the outcome we need to create for the customer? It's all about the customer. And when I was in the call centre, it's about anger management, because I worked in a space where people would get angry at the other end of the phone. And then there was a point in my life where I got introduced to a product in the world of direct sales, which, if you'd asked me, would I ever work in direct sales, I'd go, nah, wouldn't even have a plastics party, wouldn't have a clothes party, wouldn't have anything, just wouldn't have it, didn't even want to go to them. And here I was, I fell in love with the product. And I thought, at the time I had a mortgage and my husband had 2 jobs, and I thought, I'll pick up a second job. I was crap at it, really bad at it. But what I recognized was I'm a real person who's willing to learn things. So it wasn't the model, wasn't anything like that. It was me. So I went on a journey of learning. From that, very quickly, I would have other people saying, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do that? And I was leading a team, got to a space where I was leading a state, and then I was asked to write the training and rewrite the training for the company in Australia. And I've gone on and since been approached by 7 different companies from around the world where I've rewritten their training based on behavior and how to get the best out of things. So it was about 2010. And I was in a very fortunate position, never done corporate in my life, ever. And that was the point where the CEO of the company said, will you come and, become the corporate role? I was a little bit different, because I'd sit there and go, why do we do it that way? Why do we say that? And I'd drive people nuts, because, it's what you do. And then my CEO at the time said, I think you'd do better with some extra coaching. So sought out a diploma of coaching, and along the journey discovered neuro-linguistic programming, which was a toolbox which excels you as a coach. I loved it so much that I just went through becoming a practitioner, a master practitioner, and then I wanted to teach this because the ripple effect it makes when coaches have this. So I went on from a real essence, I guess, of leading myself, being a curious person all my life, but then finding something where to this day, I pretty well coach coaches and I coach leaders into becoming, get out of the good trainer space and become an exceptional coach.
I love that. And that's where my journey comes in, as I trained as a holistic health coach back in 2014.
Yep.
And I had all this health knowledge and I was getting some great results for my clients. However, I knew that I could get even better results for them and myself, my own personal life. Like, life is up and down. We're always going to get thrown lessons in life, get tested.
Yep.
And so NLP for me, and you guys may have seen that I've just come back from the 7-day NLP practitioner training. Like, for me, that was the next, to take things to the next level, not only professionally, but personally. Like last year,
Yeah.
as Bev knows, like, she helped me through, and I speak about this in my blog and I'll share the link with you all, helped me through one of the most rewarding, however, most challenging years of my life. And having that toolbox of NLP, like, I met with a friend the other day and she said, how are you so strong? And I said, because I have these tools. And after spending a week with you on the Gold Coast doing this training, it's just taken things to the next level. So
Yeah, it's life-changing. Yeah.
absolutely. So I can't thank you enough. So on that note, tell us a little bit more about NLP, if you had to, in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. All right, I'm going to simplify it. If anyone who's watching this could think about looking at a ute, and there's a tradies box on the back of the ute, those big silver tradies boxes, and there's all tools inside them. And inside that toolbox is often a red toolbox, for example, with little tools in it, like a lot of smaller tools, and there's the big tools in it as well. And if you think of NLP as a red toolbox, I've got 2 red toolboxes in my great big silver toolbox of how I can help people. And one of them is NLP. But NLP is a really broad, wide, deep toolbox. It's full of strategies and techniques. It comes from the research of decades and decades prior of psychologists, psychiatrists, psychotherapists, a whole lot of people who've found ways that can help people work. So outstanding people in their industry, because, you can have ordinary people in all industries, or you can have those who rise. But it's a toolbox of, well, if this works for this person, this works for this person, because it's not just ever one recipe fits all. So it's a big, wide, deep toolbox based on the foundation that our neurology, our brain and our nervous system, our complete neurology, our mind and body are linked. And then also based on our language, we have verbal language and non-verbal language. And, we can have quiet language, we can have noisy language, and we can have language that says something without saying something. And so then we have programming, and programming is simply the sequence we've taught ourselves to get the outcomes. Now, it's not about where we've got to in life, the way we do things. Are our outcomes good for us? Good. Keep the way you do it. If they're not good for us, there's a way to change it, but people get stuck and they don't know how to change it. So the beauty of NLP, any NLP trained coach, leader, manager, team leader, department head, anyone who works in the fascination of helping people or influencing to have better outcomes. Oh my goodness, NLP is the cream de luxe little technique in your toolbox, which makes the difference.
Absolutely. And as you're talking a little bit about NLP and that mind body link and everything, and I'd always come back to that initial training that I remember hearing about NLP with the communication model, the brain, how the brain works, which is in one of my January Wellness Wednesdays, I feel. And the brain bully to brain champion technique, this was something you taught me years and years ago, and it's something that I share with so many, my whole community knows about this.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pleased you're teaching it. Something I actually developed for the simplicity of doing it, because NLP comes from a really academic field. But to me, academic will only ever hit a small percentage of the population. Around 16% would be interested in the nitty-gritty academic side of it. But 84% of the people really just want to go, well, what can I do that gets me a result? And so the words brain bully aren't my original, but the brain champion technique is something I developed and have taught for everyone. And the people you teach, Tara, we want them to spread it to their family. We want them to use it. The words brain bully, just to acknowledge that, comes from a school in South Australia when the kids had said, I can't do maths, I can't do spelling. And the great teachers said, that's just your brain bully, tell it to go away. And when I first heard that story, I parked it and thought, oh my goodness, that is really fantastic. But then when I went on with my behavior training with neuro-linguistic programming, try saying that 3 times with, anyway, try saying that a few times. The NLP, that's why we shorten it to NLP. When I went on with that, I thought that's the missing link, because you can say stop to your neurology, your neural pathway firing, but unless you replace it with something, it'll default to the old way, because the job of the neurology is to connect and fire. Like it's got a job. So if we go through saying, oh, I'm so stupid, but you put the stop sign up to it and you don't replace something, the on stupid record's going to keep playing, which is why you have awareness, pick yourself up, put the stop sign up. Thank you, I finished with you. I notice I'm getting better at, and I notice is a beautiful way to start, because it allows you to get ready and think about something positive and say it like you want it. And the more you pick yourself up and say it, you have a new pathway, a new default way that will fire and keep going. So treat yourself nicely, folks, because how you speak to yourself is how you create your world.
Absolutely. And I really feel that's what sets you apart as a trainer and an educator and a mentor, is that you take these really academic concepts and you make them so tangible and applicable to your everyday life. So.
Thank you, Tara. I really appreciate you saying that, because I think it's important. If we complicate it too much, nobody's going to create the change. Mm-hmm. But if we say, look, it's simpler than you think, it's this, then it's this, and then we can help people get over their own hurdles with some simple techniques and strategies and, little life-changing things that can make a massive difference to them, then why not? Simplify it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so I know that a lot of the people in my community are into, wanting to know more about supporting their health and well-being. So is there anything that you can talk to around NLP specifically with people being on their health and well-being journey and how it can support them?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking that, because health and well-being, if you don't have your health, then what have you got? I mean, ultimately, love is the highest emotion, but if you're not well and healthy to experience the full gamut of love, then how are you ever going to take yourself on that journey of life? And so people who go on a health and well-being journey, there's a big broad box of what brings it to it. Some it's a life-changing moment which makes them go, whoa, I've got to pick up my socks and change. Others, there might be something happens in the family where they recognize, oh my gosh, I want to be around for the grandchildren, or oh my gosh, I actually, it matters that I'm able to have a healthy body and a healthy mind. But the healthy body on its own is never enough. And so where NLP comes into it, where I see it comes into it, and because you are a trained NLP practitioner, Tara, and you're certified as a practitioner, I know you are because I certified you.
You gave me the certificate.
Hello. And a practitioner of timeline technique, what you're equipped with for your health and well-being clients who come to your programs, who come to you for coaching, who come to you for help, is far bigger than a non-NLP trained coach. So, excuse me, I do love more water.
Yeah. All this talking, we do need to keep hydrated. Talking and learning.
Yeah.
You're learning.
Well, you got to keep hydrated because your brain's firing. It's heat. So, yeah. So because you're an NLP trained coach, the difference that you bring is that you can lay out as a trainer, you can lay out a strategy for people, a plan for people, a technique for people, for them to get going, and common sense and logic kicks in. But it's not common sense and logic that allows us to actually have the momentum to get what we want for ourselves in life. You see, our conscious mind, the logic side of it, that's the goal setter. Oh, yes, I should lose weight, or I should be healthier, or I should be fitter, or I should. The conscious mind is the goal setter, but the unconscious, or some people call it subconscious, the unconscious is the goal getter. It's what goes on beneath in here that will either propel you to go for that goal or pull you back and self-sabotage yourself so you don't go for the goal. So the extra skill that you have because of NLP is the strategic questions you can ask and coach and lead people through to discover the nitty-gritty. Because when you discover what's really behind the decision to not do that logical thing, because, oh, yes, let's all be healthy, let's all be fit, and let's all be emotionally well and everything, and we logically know it's good, then how come if it was easy, how come everyone doesn't have it like that? Yeah. So there's something that stops people, and it can be a self-sabotage thing. It can be stories they tell themselves, and a whole lot of things. So your NLP training, Tara, comes into play to actually find the nitty-gritty. Now, does it mean that someone who wants to work with you needs to be confident that they're going to find their way through? No, they're just going to have a bit of courage that it's going to be okay. Trust in Tara, folks, because she knows her stuff and she will help you get through where you want to get through. All you have to turn up with is a good dose of courage for yourself. And it's okay to be like, oh, I don't know if I can do this and whatever, but you'll come through it, because that's Tara's coaching for you. So, yeah. So, yes, there's a difference when how NLP can be the breakthrough, if you like, and especially when you'll find, I imagine, some clients listening to this or potential clients listening to this, it's not the first time they've thought about creating a health change. But this is different, because when you start the journey and you're with an NLP trained coach such as Tara, then expect your outcome, because first you had awareness, then you made a decision, and now change is happening.
Absolutely. So powerful. And everything you're saying then I resonated with my health journey.
Yeah.
It happened over 10 years, and even working with you, absolutely.
Yeah. It's
So,
good.
I'm very mindful of time, and I want to close with one last question. If you could give a little bonus strategy for anyone that's listening about how to get from unstuck to going in their health and wellbeing.
A bonus strategy. Well, I've got about 757 I could pull out of my toolbox. Let me think.
I know.
All righty. Okay. So, all right. So if you're familiar with this, folks, the one I'm about to share with you, then it's validation for you to go ahead and keep on track with it. If it's new to you, then this is a really powerful little technique for you. You see, there's this thing in our brains, it's a filter in our brains, actually, when we get the information in. If you go and watch Tara's information way back at week 1, I think you said, you've got a video about the head. Yeah, go back and watch that. You'll be familiar with the fact that we take in a lot of information, 2 million bits of information, but we only keep a little bit. And what is it that chooses what we keep a little bit? Well, there's about 7 filters in our brain, our memories, our decisions, our beliefs, a whole lot of things, which says, nah, leave that out, nah, leave that out, nah, leave that out, bring that bit in. And one of the nah, leave that out sorters is called a meta program. Now, funny name, fancy name, let's not get bogged down in the name. What it is, it's a deletion sorter. It says, I won't bring that in because I am this. Now, have a quick think about it. You will know if you're a person who's attracted to the big picture or little specific details. You'd know if someone talks a lot of details, you tune out, or if someone just talks big picture, you tune in. You'd know which way you default to, right? And another meta program would be introvert, extrovert. Are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? You're invited to a party and you find a reason not to go, or do you like to, oh, yes, I'm there in a flash. So we have these happening all the time when we hear information, experience information, sort. One of the meta programs is called moving away or moving towards. A funny name. Let me explain it for you. There's a mountain, right? So your health journey ahead of you is like there's a mountain, and you're on one side of the mountain. Now, are you a moving away person or are you moving towards person? Are you going to put that foot on the mountain, start working with Tara because you're excited about what's over the other side of the mountain? So the pleasure, moving towards the pleasure, is pulling you up that mountain to get over to your destination. Or are you going like, not until it's painful enough, not until it's painful enough, not until it's painful enough? Are you then going to start climbing that mountain and start working to get over it with your mentor, with guidance, right? To get over it, which means you're moving away from. So you're either one or the other. You're either moving away from the pain or you're moving towards the pleasure of it. So when you decide, am I back against the wall girl, or am I a girl or guy, or am I let's embrace the excitement, I love the pleasure kind of girl or guy, and it's 50-50 in the population. When you decide that about your health check decision, like getting on the programs that you want to do and having a chat with Tara and getting over the mountain, then if you're sitting on the fence, I want to give you a little tip, because here's how to actually really get motivated and stay motivated if you recognize you're moving away and moving towards person. So a moving towards person, you want to write down and just keep writing, get a blank piece of paper and write 50 reasons that light you up for when you have your health goal, your health and well-being goal, right? 50 great reasons. And if you think you need to keep writing it, like, oh, because this will happen, that'll be, I'll see this, I'll hear this, what will you see, what will you hear, what will you feel, and just keep writing. And when you've got that list, that's your motivation, isn't it? To get going, like this matters. It's on that list, sits on the other side of that mountain. Now, if you are if you ever find yourself wavering, just go and read your list, won't you? Because that'll keep you on track working with Tara. Now, if you're moving away from person that you actually feel like I'm back against the wall, it's got to be so painful and it's like last minute thing and look, it's just drastic now and now I've got to move, then the list you should write yourself is 50 things it will cost you if you do not change how things are and engage in your health and well-being program and get going. And when you write those 50 things, if you're the moving away from person, you might be prepared to keep writing, because you'll get some real logical stuff down. Oh, because of this, because of that, because of this. But when you really hit the emotion of why it matters, you'll know when you've done with your list, when you get to some emotion that really goes, ouch. And that emotion for some people has a little bit of water leaking from the eyes or not. But when that emotion goes, ouch, this matters, then that is the point. That's your motivation sheet. And that's your little, okay, now I'm going to engage in this program. Now I'm going to get going. So if you've been thinking that you'll try something, try has no momentum. So do this. Do the moving towards, moving away, or pleasure versus pain. Do the list for you, because that will be your motivation. And when the going gets tough, when, stuff happens around you in the environment that you cannot control, you go back to your page and you go, this is why this matters to me. So do that for yourself. And that would be my little bonus tip, one of my little bonus tips plucked from the toolbox to say, there you go, have a go at that.
One of many. I love that. It's one of my favorite tools that I did with you a couple of years or last year at a conference, and having that there as that motivation, because my goal is to help people with accountability and make them as self-accountable as I can.
Yeah.
So perfect tip.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tara, that's beautiful that you help your clients have that accountability, because you're observing and seeing that this is something important to them. If it's important to them, you'll pull out everything you can to help them get over their mountain. Like they'll get over their own, whatever their mountain looks like or feels like or sounds like to them, they're going to get over it, and they will get over it. The minute they're aware that it's time to make a change, they decide to make the change. And yes, if they're motivated, they've motivated themselves or can't motivate themselves, you can do it. You can do it with them, because you heard them, and it matters that they get their goal.
Absolutely. Oh, couldn't you just listen to her all day?
7 days if you like.
Well, that's exactly right. 7 days more. Tell us more. How can people get in touch with you if they want more information?
Oh, okay, thank you, Tara. So if you're fascinated with NLP, I have a little introduction course, which you're very welcome to. I also have a little short course, which NLP core skills, But I do it very differently from other NLP trainers, I must say. That my thing is about really working with you to make it relevant for you, in as much as I drip feed some lessons to you, and you can turn up and learn with me weekly on a Zoom or not. You've got an option to ask your questions with me. You get access to me every week. And so if you're fascinated with empowering your brain with the thinking, the communication, the behavior that can just take you elsewhere, it's not just for one aspect of life. It changes all aspects of your life. But if you're fascinated because it makes you a better person, and it makes you, better for your family and the people you love and care about, or you want to lead people, then hop along to www.busuccesscoaching. There you go, .com.au. And you can click through there, and you can connect with me. You can watch my free training if you like. It teaches 3 more NLP strategies. But if you'd like to do a little 7-week course with me, if you'd like a 24-week course with me, or if you're fascinated about practitioner certification, make a time with me and let's have a chat. Because just like you, Tara, that's why we work together. For us, it's about the integrity and the authenticity. I don't say, okay, that person needs this program because I want you to have this program. I'm listening to you and finding out how best I can help you. And if I can't help you, I'm going to refer you to someone who is right for you. But if I believe with all my heart that what I can help you with is there within what I teach and educate, I'm just going to let you know. And then you decide, yes, it's time.
Absolutely. Thank you again for sharing your wealth of knowledge, your passion with us. You really speak from the heart, and I just cannot thank you enough for everything that you've done for me, and it's been an amazing journey, and I just want to thank you again. And yeah, guys, check her out if you're interested.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you for inviting me. And quite frankly, the journey hasn't finished. It's always, going, isn't it?
That's right.
There we go. Always something great to learn and share with your clients. So there you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, everyone, and we'll speak soon.